How you doing? Austin Hilton here. In this video, we're going to be talking about Palantir. This is an update related to Palantir as a precursor to their earnings that is coming out on May 11th, just a few days away, and talking about the extension of a pretty major contract, as well as we're going to look at some piece of information, some news, talking about the everything going on around the company, talking about what to expect for the earnings call, also looking at specific things that we would want to look at when Palantir makes their earnings call, and just to make sure that we're in line. But ultimately, this bodes well for those of us who are long on Palantir. You guys know that I'm extremely bullish on this stock, and I'm a longtime fan, and I plan to be here for quite some time, years out. In fact, even 10 plus years is how I plan to stay with this stock. I fundamentally believe in Palantir, have continued to say that every time I do a video on this company, and I'm really excited to bring you this video because I've got some good stuff to share with you. So that's what we're going to be covering today. As always, this video is for entertainment purposes only, and if you get value out of this video, please drop a like and subscribe, become part of the community. I'm a 30-plus year investor bringing this information. I consider it my goal, my job, to help you navigate these waters and keep up to date, as well as bringing you a ton of different content. I've initiated cryptocurrency on this channel as well, so if that's something you're remotely interested in, check out my other content there. With all that said, let's go take a look at what is going on with Palantir right now. Here we go. I think you're going to like what I got for you. So you can see as of right now, we're actually up a little bit, $20.43. We're up 1.69%. We're up 34 cents today. NASDAQ's doing a really, really nice day. Dow's up as well. If you look at a one-day chart, there's your kind of movement around. So we did hit a high of 2072 today. 5-day chart looks like we are still kind of in this channeling pattern, for lack of a better way to put it. And in my 6-month view, you can kind of see that we've gone a little bit below the support level that I've been talking about as of late. But it looks like we're coming back from that, and we should start to look and start to get some positive momentum. I've said this in every single video. You guys have not known I've done a ton of Palantir videos. Here's what we're facing in the Palantir scenario. We are facing absolutely a bearish sentiment related to kind of overall media coverage. For whatever reason, the media doesn't really bring out a lot of positive news. Any positive news that we've had as of late, I mean, major contracts announced, things of that nature, strategic deals, bringing on some significant new employees and personnel that should aid them in their new move into healthcare. All that, the Kathy Wood arc, doubling down, buying even more, all those things have not fundamentally moved the stock. And I think that there seems to be an incredible amount of buildup related to this earnings announcement, and really what it's going to come down to is we've got to get commercial client growth. Really, that's what we got to look at, and that's really, I think, where a lot of now I'm saying that as a baseline. That, Palantir needs to make their numbers and all those kind of scenarios, but really, what I think everybody is holding their breath around is the addition and expansion of commercial clients. Right? That's what everybody seems to focus on. It's all anybody wants to talk about. I get it, but at the end of the day, here's what I'd also say. Commercial clients are important. I agree fundamentally, but also it's almost like people have started to ignore the government side of Palantir's business when that is what is keeping the lights on. That is what is continuing to fuel their growth and fuel their advances in technology and all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, that's where they got their start. They've got a 17, 18 plus year, runway there. They've got major extensions of contracts, growing additional contracts bigger. All of these things, guys, are there. I'm not discounting the commercial. I'm simply saying that I wish that the community at large would bring in more validity and give more credence to the overall government side as well. And I realize that what most people tend to want to do is they want to focus on kind of here's what's wrong, right? They want to focus on that. And so I just kind of wish it would change the scenario a little bit there. But regardless, we are in this really sideways pattern, right? Really not doing anything. And as a stockholder, it's been hard to watch. And I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I mean, we're ready for some movement. And hopefully we will get a positive catalyst in scenario with the earnings coming out on May 11th. Okay, so Moving forward, no, let me talk real quickly. So this is the piece of news where I was telling you about a major contract has been extended. So Palantir and the Royal Navy have extended the contract. That's good news. Honestly, I didn't read through this before I went live. I kind of wanted to see it real quickly with you live. Let's see, so Palantir is enabling Navy personnel to access and engage with curated single source of truth. User empowered to run conflict models to test scenarios to make better decisions faster. So that's pretty cool. They use obviously Foundry, programming, building directly in Foundry, showcasing their growing self-sufficiency and new technical competence. The new agreements will allow the Royal Navy to continue reaping the benefits of a more empowered workforce while keeping tight control of security and privacy of its data and full ownership of the logic behind its data model. Very cool. So the investment Royal Navy made in Foundry meant it was able to react quickly to the COVID-19 crisis early last year. It took the Royal Navy less than 48 hours to stand up a recognized people picture in Foundry using self-reported updates to inform leadership of the impact of the pandemic on its force. That's actually really, really cool. All right, so I'm seeing this like live with you guys. I did not read this before because I wanted to read this with you and just kind of react to it. So they're getting a tremendous amount of value out of it, to say the least. I do not see any dollar amount associated with this. I kind of wish we had that, but there probably are agreements in place that, you know, basically say this, you know, you can't divulge that scenario. But again, they've extended a very, very big deal contract as it relates to the Royal Navy. Okay, so let's talk about how Palantir Get Set Go. Let's talk about the fact that, again, we already know that they're going to report Q1 results on May 11th. Again, I want to say this: investors may want to remain invested in Palantir heading into earnings. I am a long-term advocate, a long-term bull. Short-term volatility, although it sucks, it is what it is, but I'm not overly concerned about it. I believe in this company's fundamental business, where they're headed, where they're going to go. They've got, there is nothing wrong with the company, with the business. We've just got to get, some positive momentum to impact the stock, right? And so, so I really want to talk about this particular first part of this yellow right here. I did a video specifically talking about this, and I don't hear a lot of YouTubers who cover Palantir ever really talking about this, but I want to really bring this up. So a key parameter that you really need to talk about, or you need to know about, is this overlooked item that is Palantir's total remaining deal value. Okay, so it's basically the aggregate dollar value of the deals that the company has signed that are yet to be wholly or partially delivered. Okay, one can argue that it's akin to the backlog metric, which encompasses several kinds of contracts. So what this is it's revenue. It's basically remaining deal revenue that Palantir gets to recognize at certain key points along the contract timeline. Okay, so remember, I was in software sales in the 90s. These are very standard. They're depending on how you structure the contract and all it is. You recognize certain key pieces of the contract revenue at certain points along the contract line, and so their remaining deal value is right at around $2.8 billion. Okay, so this is effectively a backlog of money that Palantir has not recognized as of yet because of the way the contracts are structured and things like that. This is a huge, big deal. It also speaks to the downstream strength of Palantir's contracts, Palantir's technology, the relationships they have with their clients, things like that. These clients wouldn't sign multi-year deals with Palantir if their technology or their business sucked. I'm just going to say it, right? They wouldn't. Okay, so from an investor standpoint, a significant growth in this figure, this total remaining value, would point to growing customer traction, indicating that Palantir was successful in securing several new contract deals in Q1 and suggests that its revenue growth momentum may remain intact or accelerate going forward. I agree with that, but I would also tell you that it's a key business scenario to know that to be aware of this, right? Be aware of this total remaining value scenario, okay? And again, that's why I'm bringing it to you, and I'm telling you that they've already got a significant amount there, and we'll see if that's going up as well when Palantir reveals that scenario. Okay, so another major area that Palantir gets dinged on, use that in a use that in a sentence today. Ding, D-I-N-G, gets dinged on is that they have not grown that their customer base hasn't materially grown over the recent quarters. In fact, the company had 139 customers at the end of last quarter. It has actually managed to just add 14 customers in the last 2 quarters and just 7 customers in the last quarter. Fueled concerns that the data analytics firm is excessively relying on its existing and long-standing customers to drive revenue growth, and those platforms aren't all that useful or lucrative to attract new customers. I completely ignore, and actually don't ignore, but I completely do not agree with this blue highlighted sentence here, right? Because here's the thing. They have made significant changes, Palantir has, as it relates to how they recognize revenue. Remember, they moved to a customer-friendly payment model. And remember, I've reported on this. They are offering their technology for free to major companies in key areas. Okay, they're making investments in biotech firms, things like that. I did that a video on that the other day. You definitely should keep your eye on when they're on their 10Q filing to see kind of this scenario of customer growth, right? That is something we want to pay attention to. But I would also bring you squarely back to the fact that yes, they have 139. Yes, they didn't add a lot, and I'm just trying to give you both sides of the street here. But they continue to get beachheads in these companies, and they make more and more and more revenue from these existing businesses. Do they need to grow their business? Do they need to grow their customers? Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with that. I wish that their growth of their customer base was growing, right, and more. But it is coming. You also have to remember, guys, we're still coming out of COVID-19. We're still coming out of an unprecedented year plus of time where companies weren't spending money on technologies, and companies were just in a wait and see. Hey, I'm not doing anything until I see things start to turn around. And I'm talking about the potential clients of Palantir, right? Okay, so there's some interesting scenarios here. We've heard that that Palantir was looking to increase its sales force, bring on a sales force, increase it dramatically. There's a quote out there that they were going to, quote, add triple-digit headcount for their sales. I don't know if they're going to be able to have executed on that again because of COVID-19. I just mentioned this. And that could have impacted or deferred its hiring of sales people by maybe a quarter or 2. I agree with this sentence in this particular piece of information related to that, definitely. Okay, so let's see. I also pay attention to guidance for stock-based compensation expenses when we do get on the call. We hear about the call. I would definitely pay attention to that. They've traditionally been very rich in giving these. They gave $1 billion, I think, at the end of 2020. That was a large sum. I agree with it from the standpoint of them making investments in their technology, in their people who obviously create, maintain, make the code better, make the products better, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're expecting a Q1 revenue to come in at $332 million. That's what we're pretty much expecting. Okay, but I agree with this. Pay attention to Palantir's Q2 revenue guidance. Analysts are projecting it to be $344 million, implying a year-over-year growth of 36.6%. And that will probably come in line. Palantir has historically been very conservative with their guidance and usually beats the street, right? They've issued a very conservative 5-year outlook on their last earnings call, and their actuals turn out to be very, very much higher, especially now that they're aggressively targeting the commercial space. So look out there for their Q2 revenue guidance as well. So definitely pay attention to that. There is a little bit of uncertainty around Palantir. We see that. I mean, this is uncertainty, what you see here. This is everybody sitting on the sidelines going, I'm just going to kind of wait and see, okay? Bears and bulls, I think, and we've had, so again, I think that the growth prospects are massive. I've talked about this before. Palantir's come out and said that they're in a $118 billion market. That's with a B. They've only done about $1 billion in total sales, so that leaves a tremendous amount of upside. Don't believe their number, cut it in half, right? Bring it in half and say, okay, then let's say it's a $60 billion space. Still insanely huge. I think that we've just got the scenario where we need some catalyst. We've got one coming up with the earnings call, and hopefully we'll get some positive movement out of it after that. So I wanted to bring you this information. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't want to go over too much. I'm sitting at a little bit about 14, 13 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, become part of the community, drop a like on the video. Greatly appreciate it. Go make some money. I'll see you down the road. Bye.